Okay, guys, I'm excited because we've got a superstar on the program today. We got Carol Goulart, and she is a rock star agent, and just we're just excited to have her on the program. Welcome, Carol.
Hi, was a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to be here with you, Jim. Thanks so much
Oh, my
for the
pleasure.
invitation.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Let's talk about your background. What did you do? Why'd you get in real estate? Let's start there, and then talk a little bit about your background.
Okay, so I'm originally from Brazil
Okay.
and I moved here 10 years ago. And in Brazil, I used to be an international flight attendant.
Wow.
So, yeah, so working with people, taking care about people was always is my passion. And I'm very glad because when I become a realtor, I keep keeping helping people to achieve their dreams. Because when you help people to find a house, yeah, you
Yeah.
are like helping them to be happy and to be yeah to find something good for them.
Right. So you're passionate about that. I love it. So
Yes.
it's all, and it comes boils down to customer service. As a flight attendant, it's customer service,
Yeah.
people happy and comfortable. And then as an agent, you're doing the same thing. So how long have you been a practicing agent now?
For almost 10 years
10
since I'm
years.
here, yeah, I decided to have my license.
Uh-huh.
And because I have this hospitality in my life,
Yeah.
I've been working with hospitality since I'm very, very young.
Hmm.
So I think in real estate is when you do something else for the clients, you
Yeah.
can keep that clients for life with you. Yeah. So yeah.
So
So
let's talk about your journey as an agent. So you get into the business year one. What does that look like for you? How did you start building your business?
was my first year, my first sale in real estate was very funny, to be honest, because I think when we start in the real estate, it's very difficult for you just to have that job. Yeah, sometimes you have to have a second job,
Sure.
and it was my case in 10 years ago. So when I finished my job, I was like going to study contracts and documents with another realtor that was my mentor on that time.
Yeah.
And I was in the elevator with my envelope with a lot of contracts. And the person inside the elevator, he saw the Miami Realtors sign. And then he told me, "Are you a realtor?" And I said, "Yes." He told me, "I'd like to sell my apartment. Do you mind to go there to take a look?" And then, yeah, it was very, very fun. I was surprised with the
Wow.
coaching. Yeah, but I went there, and believe you or not, I in that transaction, I represent the seller and the buyer in the same transaction. So
So
it
you
was
got
a
two transactions from your first transaction. I love it. I love it.
so for the beginning were a very good beginning, and I think because that happened with me, gave me a lot of energy to keep going.
Yeah.
So that was my beginning in the career, and then I realized that for you to I think to help people to find their homes, it's a very like unique thing to do, and I feel it's a lot of responsibility.
Yes.
So what I decide to do, I decide to work as an assistant for some like top producer realtors. So that,
Smart.
yeah, that gave me a very good background in documents, contracts, and to see how they handle the situations. So
Yeah.
it was a very important path for me through my career.
How long did you do that? How long were you an assistant?
Not too much, to be honest. I think
Yeah.
4 months, but when
Yeah.
you work for like these top
You
producers,
learn
you
a
can.
lot fast.
Yeah, and it's a fast path. So
Yeah.
you have to do a lot of things in the same time,
Uh-huh.
but it was very unique that situation for me.
It's a good lesson for agents that are newer in the industry because I think it's kind of hard to get that firsthand experience. But when you're around a top producer who's crushing it, you're hearing everything they're doing and you're seeing and you're experiencing it. It's the best coaching you possibly could have, really. Smart.
Yeah.
So in terms of when you started becoming a solo agent yourself, how did you lead generate? How did you find leads? What'd you
I
do?
have a very I have a very good husband that
Uh-huh.
he has a marketing agent.
Oh,
So yeah, so he's helping me a lot with that. So we work together. So
mhm.
we are a team on that. So yeah, he helps me with my lead generation. He helps me with my social media. He helps me with everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So. He's an important piece in
Is
my.
you guys, are you doing mailings and open houses and that kind of thing? Is that your strategy?
Yeah, so for example, we always do newsletter. So I send newsletter, I think twice per month. I send
Wow.
twice newsletter per month. I think my husband is very concerned that you cannot send a lot of things for clients because you'll be like people will stop to follow you
Yeah.
or unsubscribe you from the emails.
Yeah.
So my strategy is when I have new listings, I always prepare a newsletter. I always prepare a social media for that listing. And when I do open house, I reach out all the realtors that sold in the area, and I send them the social media that my husband prepares for that. So I'm not go to the open housing waiting for clients. I invite clients, I invite realtors. So I think it's important for you to let people know that you have a new list in the area.
Yeah, very smart, very smart. And that's a new idea I hadn't heard before, is going out to the agents that have sold something in the neighborhood and sending that. That's really smart. I like that. In terms of growing your sphere of influence and growing your database, where did that come from? Did you pick a farm area? Did you go after a certain neighborhood, or did you just organically start picking people up? How did you find people?
So, because I'm Brazilian, all the time that I go to Brazil, I try to visit another brokers there. So I
Mm,
go to brokers there. So I go to São Paulo and I keep two or three people that I'd like to meet that work in the real estate industry. So I go to some cities that I think we have important investors that is buying here in Miami. And in Orlando too, I work a lot with Orlando in Orlando City,
yeah.
but because I don't know very well Orlando, and as I told you, I'm very conscious about give a very good result for my client. I have a partner in Orlando, so all the time when I have people that would like to buy, for example, in Orlando, Boca Raton, that is areas that I'm not so familiar, I choose a partner to work with. So I prefer.
And you know what? I think that's really smart what you're saying there, because I think a lot of agents, they get really commission greedy and they will
Mhm.
say, I've got a license for the whole state. So if I can go out and list something, I don't know if, even though I don't know anything about the area, I just need to take that whole thing because I'm going to get the whole commission. But what you're saying is, if you don't know the market area, you're going to partner with somebody and make
Yes.
sure that they're going to get the best service possible. And you have a much higher likelihood of selling the property too. Let's be honest. That's really
Yes.
smart.
And
Um,
and I always try to find a partner in that cities that can partner with me as well. So
yeah.
sometimes they refer me clients. So you become like partners for life. So I like to work with them.
And it's another interesting angle. You got to look at your strengths. You say, when you come from Brazil, you might say, okay, what's the strength here? You going back and saying, hey, I can help you buy property in the States. That's a brilliant strategy. So you're uniquely positioned to do that. Um,
Yes.
how advantage do you use it a lot? Does it come up a lot that I'm sure you speak Spanish and you speak other languages. So is that a big part of your business? Is it a small part of your business? What's it look like for you?
I think helps a lot, yeah. When you talk the same language of your buyer or your
Yeah.
selling, of course, helps a lot.
Yeah.
And for example, for Brazilian, they sometimes they don't speak English, and for example, for them to do a financial process
Yeah.
because it's bank is like rates, is very complicated words.
Yeah.
So I try to find people that speak the language of my client in that in areas as well. So I have a mortgage broker that speaks Portuguese. So
Mm,
I have some lawyers that speak Portuguese. So I
yeah.
have people, important people in that is my partners in my business that speak the language of my buyer or my seller.
And that's and is it well, I have a really interesting question about that. Do you market in Portuguese then too as well? Or do you not you do that as well? So that's really smart.
Yeah.
So
So
some of your
so
marketing
my
goes out the way.
yeah my social media sometimes I have both languages, Spanish, sorry, English and Portuguese,
Uh-huh.
and then there's newsletters as well. Yeah.
Wow. Very interesting. So I think there's often a thought process is, well, if I speak Portuguese being an even smaller cut of the entire global market, that you're limiting yourself, but you're probably actually growing because there's probably not a lot of people like you that speak Portuguese in that market, right? So you're
Yeah.
actually expanding your market, not shrinking it. That's smart. Um, Now, in terms of your sphere of influence, how big is your sphere of influence as you're sitting with us today? How many people in your database? Do you have any idea?
So my husband he has a club here for
Yeah.
CEO C-level executives. So I'm very present in that group. For example, now we are going to Austin. They have the South by Southwest there. So
Hmm.
we are going with 140 people.
Wow.
So yeah, when you asked me answered your question before how I grew through the years. So I'm doing a lot of that. I'm going to events. I'm trying to do a lot of networking, new networking. So, and
Mm.
telling everyone that I'm a realtor. So during a conversation, if I don't know the people, I try to say, I am a realtor, I'm doing that. So I think we never know when you find a new client.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
100%.
yeah, and my database is very huge. I don't know how many people, but I have a lot. Yeah.
So when your husband's working on this database and he's putting out the newsletters, are you also on the phone calling and texting these people as well? Is that a part of your business model? You're out there just reaching out all the time?
So I don't do phone calls a lot. I
Okay.
need to improve on that. So yes,
Okay.
I'm missing you. There is some things that I'm not doing.
Yep.
So yeah, so I think I need to start that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the most thing that I do is like go to Brazil and reach out people there
Hmm.
and go out a lot to events. So I'm all the time we have new people that we know.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's the way that I'm doing business.
Well, it sounds like your strength is you're a great networker. So you're out there networking with people, which actually for most people that's their weakness is because a lot of people are not social. And it sounds like
Yeah,
you're a very social person.
I
So
am. Yeah.
yeah, being social. When you look at that in terms of like your week, do you find yourself, are you going to coffee, dinner, drinks, lunch with a lot of people and then these events as well? Is that a big part of your business model then?
Yes, it's a big part. So yeah, all the time I'm trying to schedule lunch with people. I'm trying to invite people to have coffee. So I invite people to like do something with me, and
Yeah.
then I ask them to invite people as well. So and another thing that works very well for me is referral. Because
Mm.
as I told you, I try to do a very like good job with people. So when they talk about me, they are promote me at the end. So
Yeah.
they are selling me. So I like to do that. So I have a lot of referrals from people that sometimes I don't know. So they told, someone told me about you. I don't remember who sometimes, but I have a lot of clients that way.
Now let's talk about the Florida market because the Florida market is, you're having a lot of listings starting to pile up. We know that just from the national news. Are you finding there's a slowdown happening with listings selling quickly, or is it what are you finding in the market?
Yeah, so I think we are in another transition now. So I think we were more in the selling market, and now we are getting into the buyer's market.
Yes.
So everyone is a little concerned, but we already saw that. Yeah. So I think here in Miami, or I don't know if it's in the US, but we always have waves. Yeah.
Yep.
And we always find a way to sell and to buy. So
Yep.
it's just wait a little bit because this phase is a little complicated because we don't know very well what to do. But
Hmm.
I think what I'm listening, what I'm seeing is that you need to put a very you need to specify your listing very well.
Yes.
So if you put the correct price, you sell for sure. But
Hmm.
you need to have the right price.
Are sellers resistant to that? Are they pushing back and saying, I want top dollar, and you're saying, well, you got to come down a little bit to actually get it sold?
Yeah, but they were more resistant some months ago, but
Yeah.
now they understand that the market is not the same.
Yeah.
So they are understanding better. So when you're explaining them that the things are not selling so fast,
Hmm.
they agree to do the right price for the property.
Well, and I think this is, it's starting in Florida, but Texas is having the same issue. It's going to start to widen out a little bit, and we're seeing it in different price bands around the country, which is a great lesson for all of us. Is that the sellers that are on the market right now, and if your market isn't switching to a buyer's market yet, it probably will.
Mhm. Yeah.
And you need to get ahead of this and get these sold and get these things priced right. So I think that's good. Do you find yourself, are you more of a listing agent or a buyer's agent? What's your percentage? Are you about 50-50 or where are you at?
I'm sometimes I do this math, but I'm 50-50. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
And
don't have like sometimes my husband, because he's the market guy, he asks me, Carol, give me who is your client? Yeah, tell me about your client. But I have a mix.
yeah.
So I have investors, I have people that are buying to live. I do a lot of rentals as well. I like to do rentals, and
Mhm.
I think rentals can become the new buyer.
Yeah.
So I focus on rentals as well.
So with your database, are you doing a lot of social media marketing too? I know your husband is, but are you on video or are you just doing static ads or what are you doing?
So that's my another weakness, that I need to do more videos.
Yeah.
But because my husband, he's doing the posts and everything, I'm not doing that. But I think no, I know I need to start on that,
Yeah.
because I already have very good sales through social media.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you need to invest there for sure.
And with your clients that are coming up and selling, do you find that they are offering incentives? Is that a big part of what's happening in terms of not only just reducing the price, but offering some kind of incentive right now to buyers? Like, hey, we'll pay part of the closing costs, we'll pay part of the down payment kind of thing, or no?
No, I'm not there yet.
Not there.
I listed that a lot of people are doing that,
Yeah.
but for me, I don't. For me, it was not there yet. The
Mm-hmm.
only thing that I'm seeing that change a lot was the commission part. So
Ah,
yeah, so the 3% is not there anymore. So a lot of times it's 2.5, 2. So this part, I think, is not is we are not like there yet. We didn't understand all the changes yet.
yeah.
So that part for me is the thing that's more like we need to work better on that. Yeah, to explain to the seller, to the buyer. So
What's interesting about that is I think when we're kind of switching into a buyer's market, I think now it might be flipping over back to the 3% because you want to encourage buyer's agents to bring their buyer to you, right? So that
yeah.
I mean it could be an incentive on the other side too.
Yeah, so
Uh,
I explain a lot about that to when I have a listing.
yeah,
I tell the sellers put 3%, because this is an incentive for the realtor to work with you. So I
yeah,
think if you have 3% as commission, you are separate from a lot of other listings, because of course
yeah,
the realtor you prefer to work with 3% commission.
yeah.
So I'm explaining that to my sellers, and
Hmm.
they agree with me. So most of my listings are 3% for
Yeah.
the buyer.
And you could charge anything. It could be 3.5%, could be 4%.
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
price fixing here, of course, but when you're looking at it, it is an incentive. And what it does is it takes the pressure off the buyer because if the buyer has to write the check, then they're going to be less likely to see the property. So that's
Mhm.
important. When you look at, and I'm sure new agents come to you all the time and they say, Carol, you're such a successful agent. What do you think I should do? What do you tell a new agent that comes to you and says, what should I do? Day one, I'm getting in the business. What's your best advice?
Wow, this is difficult, but I think they need to invest in study a lot. So,
Mm,
for example, when I start to be a realtor, you sign for the MLS, for the matrix.
yeah,
So they have a lot of courses there, and it's unbelievable how much you can learn from that company, so from the MLS.
yeah.
So I think you need to invest in learn a lot.
Hmm.
When, for example, my second sale, I think so, or third, I partnership with another realtor as well. I was not ready yet to
Hmm.
sell solo.
Yeah,
So I think you need to ask help. Yeah, you can say to another realtor that is your friend that you know, can you help me with this? Can you help with that? And of course, you need to give something for the other
sure.
realtor,
Of
but
course.
it's a way for you to learn. So, or be an assistant, or start to work as a property manager. So there is some ways that you can start and then build your knowledge and build your clientels. And another important thing is say to everyone that you are a realtor, yeah? Because sometimes you become a realtor, but are afraid. So you need to tell people.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, which is an interesting question because you're working with your husband in your business, which a lot of people don't do. How do
Yeah.
you find that? Is that something, do you guys butt heads or do you guys work really well together? Some people do, some people don't. How do you manage that relationship? Who's in charge? I bet you are.
Yeah. So to be honest, we are not so good to work together.
Yeah.
But my husband, he has a team, so I
Ah,
work with his team.
you work with somebody
Yeah.
that works with him. I
Yeah.
see. I
Of
see.
course, he's there. He's the head
Yeah.
of. But I spoke more with the team that
Yeah.
he gave to me to work with, because I think wife and husband work together sometimes not so good.
My wife could not work with me. I'll tell you that
Yeah.
right.
So sometimes he says something, but he writes, but the daily basis is with his team. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, do you also have an assistant or anybody else that helps you?
So yes, I have a person more like a transaction coordinator,
Okay.
but she's in Brazil. So that's
Oh,
another good thing to do,
yeah,
because that for them it's a very good money, and for me it's not so much. So I think it's like you can compensate very well when
yeah.
you work with people that has a different currency.
Hmm.
And yes, I have a person, but he's in Brazil.
And with that person, is that she speaks English and Portuguese then? Both?
Yeah,
Uh,
she speaks English very well,
yeah.
and she has a phone number from here, so
Ah,
she can call from there and answer taxi with a phone that's from here, a number that's from here.
yeah.
Though, so I think that helps a lot too, because don't let people to be confused that the person is not here
Right.
in
And
US.
just out of curiosity, is there a time zone issue there or no? Does she work nights now or how does that
No,
work?
no, she works. We have just 2 hours difference,
Oh,
and sometimes 1 hour, so
okay.
works well with the
About the
time
same.
zone.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And with your business, do you find that you are as busy as you have been, or is it more of a struggle this year, or where are you at with your, kind of the pace of the market right now?
I feel that is more calm.
Yeah.
It's more calm now for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think until the end of the year and was very, very, very like a fast path,
Yeah.
but now it's a little calm, in
A
my
little
opinion.
calmer.
So I'm
Yeah.
feeling that the market is changed because of that.
Yeah. Yeah. What is your when you're looking at kind of moving forward, do you have like a set goal in mind every month? Like, hey, I got to get 3 transactions, I got to get 5 transactions. Do you approach every month like that, or do you just come out every month and be like, well, what happens happens. I can't control it. Well, how do you approach the month?
So I'd like to plan my year,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
year. So
Okay.
yeah, so at the beginning of the year or the end of the year, I'd like to set a goal.
Yeah.
So how much I would like to sell, how many transactions I'd like to have. So I have this structure in my mind. So yes, I have it. And every 3 months, I look what I wrote.
I
So
got
I
you.
look, okay, I'm here, I'm not here, I need to change some things. So yes, I have, but I do by year. And every 3 months, I look again.
I got you. What do you have an idea of what it is that you've changed the most for 2025? Is there something you've said, I was doing this in 2024, but I'm going to start doing this in 2025? Is there anything you're starting to do now that you haven't maybe done before?
Yeah, so what I'm planning to do, what I'm doing now, Jim, is like I'm start to do the coaching with you.
Yep.
So because I'd like to change something. I don't know what yet.
Yep.
So I think I need to do more videos. So I'm trying to start studying again, because I
Hmm.
was so like doing things, doing things, doing things. So I'd like now to breathe, because and understand what I'm missing, what
Yeah.
I'm not seeing.
Yeah.
So with coaching, I think like I'm doing this podcast. So I'm trying to do more different things
Yeah.
to see if I will have different results.
Well, I think it's what's important is no matter what success level you have, you got to stretch, right? And it's got to be
Yeah.
uncomfortable because if it's comfortable, that means you're just, it's in your comfort zone. You got to get outside of it, which is smart. You're doing the right thing. Okay, Carol, you've given everybody a few good ideas here to think about, to reflect on, to grow their business, and I think it's very, very powerful. So I want to thank you. Now, if somebody wants to refer you business and they say, I've got a client that I think would be perfect for Carol, how could somebody get a hold of you? What would be the best way they can get a hold of you?
You can call me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or do you have are you on, you're on social media, obviously.
Yes.
I always
Yes.
hesitate to give out phone numbers. So if what would be a better, like, what's your social media handle? Do you have one you can give it to us?
Yes. It's Carol Goulart, Realtor.
Carol Goulart, Realtor. And you're
It's
on
my
Instagram and
Instagram.
Facebook and everywhere
Yes.
else?
Everything. Yeah.
And Goulart is spelled Goulart, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so reach out to Carol if you got a referral, you get some business out in the Miami area. She'd
Yeah. It
love.
will be my pleasure.
Okay. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Carol. Thanks for being on
Thank
the
you.
program.
Bye bye.